Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons as a fence, all right? And why it is absolutely critical that this fence is not torn down. All right, there's an old wise saying, like a proverb, a non-biblical proverb, right? Proverb is it's a wise saying, right? And it's been earned. Well, the proverbs in the Bible were given to us by God. Humanity's proverbs are essentially earned through pain, right? Okay. So let's talk about this old wives' proverb. And so here's the proverb: if you don't know what offense is meant to take, is what offense is meant to keep out, don't tear it down. Okay? And that's what's happening right now. So we are right now, Satanic Panic began in 1983. The 2023 Manic Panic began exactly on January 3rd. Okay, and today we're on the 24th. Okay, so we're on the 21st day of the 2023 Manic Panic, and already the revisionism and already the gaslighting has begun. And I'm going to do what I can to keep a record of the 2023 Manic Panic. Because we are in a world, I don't need to tell you this, but I'm just going to remind you of it. We are in a world where revisionism is absolutely rampant, right? What happened on January 6th? Do you know? Do I know? A lot of people writing books about it, right? A lot of people are telling you what happened and what didn't, and they don't agree, right? So this is a field report from me, Scott Garibay. I was on the front lines of the 1983 Satanic Panic. I was a dungeon master then, and we were under the cry of D&D be gone in 1983 under the Satanic Panic, and we are absolutely in a far, far worse position today. What's happening now is far worse than Satanic. Nothing that happened under Satanic Panic even remotely rivals what has already happened under the under the 2023 Manic Panic, right? And the reason why is, the Satanic Panic were Christians coming to destroy something that they believed was part of the occult. The 2023 is literally OGL creators who made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on Dungeons & Dragons coming to destroy Dungeons & Dragons so they can move forward with a tabletop role-playing game industry where the real deal, the actual, Nike not Norky, right? The non-counterfeit, the genuine article is forgotten and destroyed. That's what D&D Be Gone means. It is a promise to burn D&D to ash in every possible way. Right, and it's shouted, I think close to 10,000 times a day on Twitter right now, right? And we don't know what's going to happen with Gen Con, or we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't, right? But I can tell you right now, it's going to be ugly. It's already ugly, right? Already there have been thousands of books burned in the digital fires on D&D Beyond by people who are like, we're in groups, and their group were like, hey, you need to go and cancel your subscription. I know you bought the $700 package, but you need to cancel that, and you need to digitally burn those digital books. That's repugnant. And I have witnessed one person saying they have already begun burning physical. A physical PHP has already been burned under the 2023 Manic Panic. I did not think it would breach digital burning of digital books, but it's already breached that, right? So basically, if you don't know what a fence keeps out, don't tear the fence down. And I'm telling you right now, thousands of OSR partisans, thousands of orcs, right? Open role-playing game creatives, thousands of OGL 1.0 creators are looking to tear that fence down. Now, I'm telling you, in my humble opinion, D&D is a fence. What does it keep out? The Identity Reaper, okay? In 1974, Gary Gygax created something truly unique that has never been before, has never since been recreated, okay? And that was Manifold Sentience. He was like, okay, hey, you had one life before 1974. Now if you're a dungeon master, you have 1,000. Now if you're a player, you have 100, right? And you, right now, you know, I have sense memories of standing on the Schuylkill and breathing in, you know, the smells of the Schuylkill and the smells of Philadelphia pretzels, right? And watching a crow land on a statue of Benjamin Franklin. I also have sensory memories of standing on the dock in Waterdeep, right? As the ships come in and the sun is coming up, right? And I can smell brine pickles, right? Being sold by a gnome, right? I'm a dungeon master. I have 1,000 sets of memory. I have 1,000 sets of sensory experience. I have 1,000 sets of emotions, right? I have 1,000 sets of preferences. I have 1,000 different standards, or different sets of standards, right? I have lived in 1,000 people because I am a dungeon master, and because Gary Gygax came forward and brought forth, in my humble opinion, nothing that can be described as a game. And if you think it's a game, tell me why the world is burning right now in tabletop role-playing games, right? Tell me why half the Dungeons & Dragons creators, and Nonat is a Pathfinder creator, and he is telling you right now he cannot sleep over what's happening right now, right? This is real, right? People don't lose sleep over Candyland. People don't lose sleep over Ticket to Ride. The idea that Dungeons & Dragons was ever a game was a ludicrous concept for fools before the 2023 Manic Panic, right? And I just want to ask you, why do you think there have been two specific panic events with the same goal? To burn Dungeons & Dragons to ash, to never, ever, ever allow anyone to buy, own, run, read, watch Dungeons & Dragons. Two separate groups, right? Divided by 4 decades, have come and said the same words. D&D be gone. 1983. D&D be gone. 2023. And we have double trauma victims. We have people in 2023 who the trauma of the 23 Manic Panic is being set on top of the 1983 trauma of the Satanic Panic, right? This is unprecedented, right? And the OGLers and the Orcs and the OSR are coming to tear down the fence because they don't know that what's coming is the Identity Reaper, right? And here's the problem, right? Jason Bullman just copied Gary Gygax's work, and he didn't know what was in it. He thought it was a game. In my humble opinion, Jason Bullman don't know nothing about D&D. D&D is a human improvement engine that had all the trauma, right, of Gary Gygax built into it, and said, listen, before I was 10 years old, the world had 2 nuclear bombs detonate. I lived through the Korean War. I lived through the Vietnam War, right? And his trauma was then wrapped in this brilliant light of hope, right? And he said, no one on this planet ever again, if they can get themselves to a PhD, will ever be stuck with one life. I will give them 100 lives, and if they are really brave, really confident, and really charismatic, I will give them 1,000 lives. That is, in my humble opinion, what he built. And these OGLs, these OSRs, these Orcs do not know what they are tearing down. They're tearing down a fence that is keeping back the Identity Reaper. And I cannot tell you how many lives will be stunted by this action. When Pathfinder 2, which is inarguably, in my humble opinion, worse than Pathfinder 1, right? You bought the Pathfinder 1 in less than 500 pages, you could play it. You buy the PHP, that thing is almost 600 pages, and you have nothing. If you buy the core Pathfinder 2e, you cannot play. You do not have a monster manual, and you don't have a Dungeon Master's Guide, right? You can get a 600-page book from Pathfinder 2, and you have nothing. You're not ready to play, right? It's inarguably worse than Pathfinder 1. And most Pathfinder 1 players won't even touch it. They will tell you it's garbage, right? We are trading, right, an advancement of human intellectual evolution for utter trash garbage. We are tearing down, like the OGL, the OSR, and the Orcs are tearing down a fence, and they do not know what it keeps out, the Identity Reaper. And we are about to regress as humanity. This is our greatest secular achievement. This is the only thing that goes against wealth class, that goes against, that frees people from living in one single life, right? And this is going to stop people from traveling, from experiencing, and frankly, our entire society is going to get worse, right? Gary brought forward a mechanism that allows exploration into preference, exploration into different genders, exploration into different personalities, exploration into different species, right? It is the greatest tolerance engine that has ever been created. And the spark that is in Dungeons and Dragons does not live in dungeon crawl classics. It doesn't live in worlds beyond numbers. These are hollow, husk, useless, worthless copies that do not contain the spark of ingenuity, innovation, and hope. Because none of those people lived through what Gary Gygax lived through, and it does not contain his hope. And they cannot copy it. This entire thing is borne out by people who do not want to lose the right to copy. Not even, and that's the other thing that people aren't talking about. Let's talk about the indies, right? The indies are fine, right? Everybody who created their own game, they're not concerned about any of this. This entire second revolution, this promise to destroy Dungeons and Dragons forever, is coming from the outrageously selfish, hateful desire, right, to simply copy, right? Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about all the new games that are on their way. MCDM, wait for his hate game, right? Why is it a hate game? Because he hated what Hasbro chose to do with the OGL. Matthew Colville did not start working on his own game, right, until his hate boiled over from the OGL 1.1 leak. His game will be a game birthed, marinated, and brought forward in nothing but hate. And every single game being born right now out of OGL 1.0 creators, OSR, and the Orc, right? The Orc was born in hate. Do you understand that? Right? Do you understand that all these companies signing up, they're like, we hate what Hasbro did. Let's take a hate action. Let's take an action born out of hatred, right? And that's going to be what is in these games. Just pure anger, pure vitriol, pure hate, right? And the reality is there's no way to escape it, right? They can't put love, hope, and, they can't put love, hope, kindness, tolerance in these games because they are literally born from the hatred of one action of Hasbro, right? And all of these copiers did not have the passion, right? The wherewithal, the innovation, the love to build something without their hatred sparked fury, right? And as for me, I want a game born in love and hope. I reject every single game that is born in the fires of the 2023 Manic Panic. And in my opinion, they are not, they cannot bring anything useful to anyone. The OGL, the ORC, and the OSR are tearing down a fence, and they do not know what D&D, in my humble opinion, holds back. It is the Identity Reaper, and it is going to regress us. It's going to regress. It is going to kill the Manifold Sentience. That's what's at stake here, in my humble opinion. I'm ready to hear your humble opinion. Please consider liking and subscribing. Please get in the comments and send your traffic. Have a wonderful millennium.